The late Elizabeth Njeri Kamau was born in the year 1954, June 1st. All through her lifetime, she had only one wish: creating a better society. At the heart of Kariobangi North, Korogocho village, we found the famous Mama Elizabeth Children's Home.
We have 45 kids in this home. We also have a feeding program that benefits about an average of 150 kids per meal on a daily basis. We do it from Monday to Saturday. You know why? Because kids here in the slums are neglected. Kids here are hungry. And it's only, through such acts, kindness acts, that we can make a difference for them.
Named after the founder, Mama Elizabeth Njeri Kamau, this establishment began in the year 1993.
I came here way back. I've been here since 1993. And I happened to come here, whether I can say it's a coincidence or it was, God's plan. Why? Mama Elizabeth and my mom were colleagues. They happened to be hairdressers. They used to work at Reinsurance Plaza. Then it happened that my mom, got infected by, HIV and all that. So when we lost her in 1993, our own blood relatives, they never wanted anything to do with us. And yes, because of stigma. And now, actually before my mom passed, she happened to have witnessed Mama Elizabeth's kindness, because she had also lost one of her sisters to HIV, and she took in the 6 daughters belonging to her sister. It's not every day that you meet such people. So my mom was so impressed such that she lamented that should something happen to me, I would be so happy if my kids were taken by someone with, a big heart such as yours. Little did she know that 1 year later she'll be no more, because one year later she succumbed to HIV. And when that happened, we got stranded. We've buried our mom. We are left, no one really wants us. And now I think she remembered what, my mom's words, because she decided to take us in. And you see, I have 3 brothers behind me, because we are 4, Now imagine, this mama, she took the 6 daughters, here we are 4 of us, and she had her own biological 3. Yes, so it became 13 in one household. When that happened, the Mzee could not take it. Sincerely, this is a Chelsea team, yeah? 13 is a Chelsea team with 2 substitutes, So the Mzee was like, hey, I'm not starting a school or anything, so you have to choose between marriage and the kids. And being a big-hearted person that she was, a selfless person, Mama chose us, the kids.
In the year 1990, she separated with her husband, which turned to be a blessing in disguise.
Mom, for the last 25 years, she has been taking care of kids.
Baby Jesus, I love you.
In fact, us as her kids, we are those ones of, why are you doing this? Your last born is someone married, he is married with kids, his own place. Now we find her with diapers, akipanguza pupu ya watoto, we get mad. And she was those ones, let me do my job. Even in her dying bed, I remember very well, she was always asking, watoto wamekula? Watoto wako sawa? Hers was watoto. With the pain of cancer, she had breast cancer. We learned about it when it was stage 4. She kept quiet. After she knew she had it, she kept quiet. So we learned it in 2018.
2016 happened to be my worst year. Why? Mom discovered that she had a lump on one of her left breast, And when that happened, at first she ignored it. Later, she did, secretly she went for testing, and that's when she discovered that she had breast cancer. But we've all heard what breast cancer does. To fight it, you need resources. And looking at our setup, there are no resources. So what mom decided to do was keep it to herself.
She didn't tell you?
Yes. She never shared about the disease. 2016, 2017, 2018, it became worse. Now she called us for a meeting. And when she broke the news, you know, we were all heartbroken. Looking at her, by the time she's breaking the news, it's already at stage 4. I saw mom suffer for quite some time. Kwa sababu, when she broke the news to us that, you know, she had breast cancer and it was already too late, she kind of gave up. I did a lot of convincing because I had to tell her that, Mommy, we can fight this together. We eventually managed to use an NHIF card. She actually went for her first chemo, you know, she cleared the first state. She even came back home, gained weight from 35 to 70. Yes. You know, Mommy was this special person. The noise, you know, from the kids would really make her so happy. You know, you'd actually go to see her in the hospital, see how much she's suffering, and all she's thinking of the kids. She would be like, on Saturdays we do chapatis for the kids. So she's like, today is Saturday. Have they, you know, chapatis ready? Yani, all the time, it wasn't all about her. It was always all about the kids. Mom was the most, you know, the kindest person that you'd ever meet. She had this love that I've never witnessed in any other person. Can you imagine? Guys only realized last year that I'm not her biological.
People used to know that.
Yes. Because Mommy was this kind of a person that if she bought 1 kg of meat, whether you're her biological or not, if every kid is getting 2 pieces, you're getting 2 pieces. No special treatment. So last year was literally a painful year because she spent about 9 months in hospital. You know, the first time she stayed for 4 months, the second time she stayed for 2 months, third time 2 months, and the last 2 months. And now it was during the last 2 months that, you know, Mommy, I remember on that day when she decided to delegate the responsibility to me, we even forced her to sit down. She was struggling. She never wanted to sit down because of the pain. And we forced her to sit down on a seat. And during that moment, she holds my hand out of the blue and she was like, hey, she loved calling me Mungai. Mungai, my son. Wewe ndo naachia nyumbani, you know, you're the one I'm delegating the responsibility to. I'm ready to go home. And I actually remember making a joke out of that statement, telling, hi, Mommy, how can you say that you're ready to go home and the doctors have not said that you're ready to go home? And kumbe she had other ideas. The home that she was talking about was the heavenly home. Because everyone that she used to call after delegating the responsibility to me, that final week, everyone she mentioned was a deceased person, you know. And now that's when we read the signs and saw that, you know, a time is coming that no matter how hard we're struggling, we are being hopeful that Mom would walk out of that bed. It became crystal clear that she wasn't. And I even remember confronting one of the doctors. Can you imagine they had the guts to ask us, why can't you take your mom to India at that stage? By that time, the lungs had failed because the cancer had also affected the lungs. And now someone tells you, why can't you take mommy to India? You know, I actually remember facing her and telling her, hey, you've dealt with so many cases, such similar cases. And I want you to be honest with me. What are the chances of mom surviving? You know, I caught her by surprise because she was like, hey, are you ready for the news? Yes, I told her. That's why I asked. And she said 0. A week later, after losing her speech, Mommy rested on 6th December last year. So kupata mom, awechukua watoto kutoka hizo backgrounds zenye unaona wana need help, wana need a strong foundation so that kesho akuja kuwa mtu wa maana. Like hapa kuna watoto wengi wamekuja hapa, ukisikiza stories zao unakasirika na maisha. Why? Watoto wengi wanasafa. Lakini sasa na home yetu imekuwa Mami alikuwa akichukua tu watoto, unapata amepewa through chief, Unaona? Unapata wazee wa kijiji atakuja aseme kuna kesi ya mtoto fulani mahali fulani na fulani na fulani ako hivi na hivi na hivi na hivi. So unapata mami atafanya nini, atamwelcome hapa. Yaani mami alikuwa ule mtu, as long as uko in need, her door was always wide open for you. Ni kitisho chako, nikimobilize watu wakinilenga, lazima nitafute means ya kukua. Sasa mimi napenda viatu and all that kitu mfanya kakiumana sana, nachukua kiatu yangu moja. Kama nilinunua kitu kama 35, nakuja nikwambia nipe 25. Unaona? Ni sort out issue kwanza ya hapa. Nikijua kiatu naweza kuja ni replace siku nyingine nikiwa sawa. Unaona? Kwa sababu hizo challenges za kwa una donors.
My name is Akim Okuwaga. I'm a Nigerian. And this is Samuel Badijo. He's also a Nigerian. Actually, he's the one who came up with the idea of giving back to the less privileged, because we grew up in a ghetto as well, and we know how hard it is to feed and to go to school and all that. And we just want to give back. We just want to put smiles on people's face with the little God has done for us. And I want people as well, if you're watching me right now, I want you to be able to, even if it's just Ugali, Sukuma Wiki, look for a place that you can give back to the society so that you can help and lift people up.
Kama sasa umeona kuna group imetembea, hii ni group imekuja, whatever watakuwa wameleta ina push the days. Kama sasa unaona politicians ghetto, they only come here wakati ni election imekaribia. Kwa nini? Juu ya population. You know, population equate to votes. Unaona? Lakini time nyingine hii, kama mimi sijaipewa support yote na government ati organizations ama kitu kama hiyo, ni well wishers tu, you know, but na hope yote one day ita change. Na sasa unapata bado mtu kama chief atanipatia mtu hii, na bado yeye ana represent government. Kwa hivyo na right ya kusema pale kuna center ya watoto na inanidigi chakula, kwa hivyo zile the government zikipeana tunaweza kuwa tunapata, lakini no, you know, sadly that's how the system is. So tunashukuru tu Mungu kwa this far. So we love doing it, and we believe that it's only a matter of time before God blesses us with donors. Because currently I only run the home through mobilizing, through my WhatsApp and my Facebook. I'm not on IG or anything, or Twitter and all that. I only manage it through Facebook, my own accounts and my WhatsApp. But so far so good, I've seen God's hand. Because currently, as you've seen the structure, if you came here before, it was terrible. Most people used to walk out of here, you know, with tears. In tears because of what they've witnessed. You're out there taking things for granted, but when you get on the ground, you realize that you're privileged, you know. So I'm determined to keep Mom's legacy alive until I see a big, banner reading Mom Elizabeth out there. I'm never going to rest. And you see, I have no way out of this. Wish yake kubwa ilikuwa ikue a formal children's home sasa in her honor. Because, I have to honor her wishes until my last breath. I have to keep her legacy until God decides that my time is up. So prayers and support, that's what can keep this home going.